In this video, I am showing you 3 of Osvaldo Menegazzi's handmade boxes, and he is of course the man and the maestro behind Il Meneghello, which he is no longer in charge of as of the making of this video in May 2021. I believe several years ago he handed the management of the company of the shop to his stepdaughter Cristina Dorsini, and the shop also then relocated, rebranded, repositioned in the market, etc. And so I am not sure as to what the availability is like these days, especially when the maestro is getting quite elderly, and from what I understand he is now retired or semi-retired. I honestly don't know, I apologize. These are older ones, I believe, and I'm showing you this in a separate video because there's another range that tend to sit upright like this, and the top come off in a telescopic box style manner. This is a, I don't know what you call it, but this is a flat sort of, you know, this way rather than that way. And of all the flat tabletop, flat facing, or I don't know what you call this, so instead of the boxes, instead of like this, like that, I have these 3, and I think only these 3 that's 3-dimensional. So there are other ones with those variety of wrapping papers before they're rebranded to their current format. So I'll show you those in a separate video. This is just special because it's a bit more intricate, and it feels a little bit more 3-dimensional, as you can see here with that card on top of that card. And it's not just a card, it's enforced on a board. Those little, I call these paillettes, I don't know what you call those. This is also, if you can see there, like a separate card, actually handwritten. And it is like any handcraft, it is only sustainable for as long as the maestro is physically able and allowed. So this is another one here. You can hear there is something in it, but this is really mainly about the box. I will show you the inside as well. Oh, excuse me, there's clonking around in there. And this one here. So it feels like more like there's a lot of glue here, like enforcing, as you can see there, enforcing the paper. So it feels like the technique feels like, I do apologize if I'm not quite accurate in describing this, but papier mâché, is that how you pronounce it? So it's absolutely drenched in glue, and the paper, the boxes became quite enforced by after the glue dries. So this one here is a bit difficult to open because the box is actually a little bit squeezed under the lid here. It's almost as if the box is too large for the lid and it's forced in. So let me leave that for the moment. I'll just show you this one first. I believe this is the Swiss Tarot. So this is box inside of a box, really, because I've acquired the 2 separately. One, I can't remember which one, but one was just the box, and so I just put them together because they belong in the same deck, which is the Swiss Tarot. You can tell from the cup there. And so let's have a look at this. So this is that book style. Again, it's just a lot more 3-dimensional than is usual, so I am categorizing these 3 together, really. This is probably not new for you. So that's 2000, and again, we can't really tell if the booklet is original to the deck, right? I mean, that's the difficulty with these things, and whether the deck and the booklet and the box and the container within which you acquired them is original to each other, we just don't know. So the usual, as you can see, the Juno and Jupiter instead of the Pope and Popessa was made for the Protestant market. So that tend to be later on in this century, further towards the Protestant side in France as well as Switzerland and that side of Europe. And the I love the hermits, the variety of hermits in these old European Tarocchi and Tarot, this playing cards is how they look quite different in each of them. This one look like a monk, and some of them look like a Benedictine monk, and others look like they have a furry coat. And also the aces and the hangman in one instance look very, not modern, but look visibly, the clothing that he's wearing, the hairstyle, the one that looks, usually he looked depicted looking towards the side with a bit of goatee, a bit of beard. His outfit is from, I think, compared to the older clothing style of the typical quote-unquote Tarot de Marseille, which isn't necessarily always, not always from Marseille. It's really a misnomer. Again, I have a video about that. Feel free to check out my historical playlist, my historical tarot playlist. So that is, I believe, what you call a type 1, with the figure in the world appear to be male presenting rather than female, with the cloak and carrying like what looked like a, so instead of that sash around her body, you can see this in the Noble, Jean Noble, which we call Tarot de Marseille, but not at all from Marseille. So yeah, so that's, here you go. This is the Benoit Strasbourg. Again, I've spoken about the Benoit and the non-Marseille tarot, Flemish tarot and Swiss tarot and the rest of it, and there's a playlist. Feel free to check that out as well. So yeah, so let's move on from here, because this is, as I've mentioned, is probably more about the box. This item is created by hand. Yep. So put that back in here and just prevent it from moving around like this one here, instead of clonking all over the place. Can't be good for it. Okay. So this is okay, I'll fold out there. The usual disclaimer. Right, there are two. And this Tarocco de Marsiglia is a little bit more glossy, so the cardstock isn't as, I am not as enamored with this cardstock, as you can see. It feels, it doesn't feel as luxurious. The other one feels more luxurious, like art paper, like watercolor paper. This feels more like magazine cover, if that makes sense. So I'm not too crazy about it, but you know, it is the reproduction of the images. Again, I have gone through all this before, and feel free to check out my historical, whether it's Marseille or non-Marseille, Flemish and Swiss tarot playlist. So that's type 2. It's been a while, so I am a bit rusty, but I think that's a type 2 there. And the type 2, type 1, of course, was also conceived by the playing card historian, and then later on he realized that the type 2 and the type 1 is not the most accurate representation of the development of the history of tarot, because later on, after he developed that type 1, type 2, he realized that type 2 actually, what he considered to be type 2, actually exists concurrently with type 1. So that timeline, you know, that categorization of type 1 and then followed by type 2 no longer works. But I've also discussed that, but the terminology is stuck, but I've discussed that already as well. Again, I might link it up here or up there, depending on how this is flipped, and maybe at the end of this video. So I'll try to open this. This is really hard. It's always been hard, but this is the most visible. If you can see there, the brush stroke of the like the varnishing almost. I believe they're glue. I should have pre-opened this, but I want to show you how these boxes are so imperfect and so difficult sometimes. You see there, but that's just the nature of it. So I'll quickly show you. Again, luscious art, sort of paper there. A lot of foxing, unfortunately, with all this yellow stuff around. I'm not quite sure whether that's part of the effect or whether that's an actual foxing. I have no idea, but here is his signature, which I don't think he, 1835, 1992. Not quite sure he does that anymore. And even the brand Meneghello now are printed rather than hand written, which again is fair enough. You know, these ones there. There's his actual signature. That's his actual handwriting there. Again, his signature, and I value these very much. If you are here for the books, please everything's moved to my bookshelf. These aren't going to be for sale just yet. These are going to be the ones that will leave me the last. But if you are looking for my tarot collection liquidation, at the moment I'm putting them on hold, but please follow me on Instagram at my collection for sale, and any updates, and once I can find the time and the energy to go back to my storage space location and start selling again, you will definitely see the post there. So wait for me there, and I will definitely update you over there instead of here, because that's more practical. So as long as you follow me there, you'll get an update. Once again, if you're here for the books, fountain pens, and stationery, everything have moved to my bookshelf, link down below. Thank you for watching.